Hi, today's video will be a tour of our 2019 Winnebago View. So I'm Louise and this is George.
Hey.
And together with our dog Miles, we are Miles Across USA.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun.
We've been traveling full-time for the last 13 months in this 2019 Winnebago View. And for the last 13 months, poor George has been listening to me say, I just want 5 more feet. I wanted more counter space. I wanted theater seating. I just felt like this was a little bit too small. But recently we attended the Winnebago Grand National Rally, and we went to see the Class A's and talked to a lot of people. And it was really a great week. We had a good time. One of the decisions that we came to was that we are going to embrace our Class C. Going to the next size, the Class A, is a very big decision, especially right now with all of the demands on the RV market. And not only would it cost significantly more money to purchase, it would also cost a great deal more money in gas and maintenance and would require a lot more of our time. The Class C is incredibly simple. It's very nimble. We never have any trouble finding camping spots. And it's just a very simple pack up. And you can actually park this in a regular spot. So there's a lot to be said for the size of this, the simplicity of it. So we have decided to go ahead and stay in it for at least a couple more years and continue our adventure. And I got to say that at least George is really glad to hear that. We didn't want to risk our other goals. When we plan on traveling for a couple more years, but when we do stop, we want an exit plan that keeps us financially stable for the rest of our lives. We never want to work again. We don't want debt. And so we want a small house on a piece of land. And in order to do that, we need to just continue to keep everything simple. So this is a 2019 Winnebago View with a G floor plan. It's built on a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. It's 7.5 feet wide, 25.5 feet long, and 11.5 feet high. It has 2 slides, one in the bedroom and one where the dinette is. So let me show you around. So in our kitchen, we have double stainless steel sinks. I like the double because it gives me a chance to wash and then rinse. But if I need the area instead of the sinks, I have these great little covers that I can put on and it expands my kitchen prep area. We use a Brita filter. Even though our water is filtered twice before it even gets to the Brita filter, I just like the reassurance. So we have a filter underneath our sink and we have another one outside at the water source. But we also filter the water through the Brita and it fits very nicely here. It's worked out really well. So here we have a 2-burner propane stove. And up here we have a convection microwave oven. We also use an Instant Pot, but most of our cooking is done outside. George does most of the cooking on the griddle area. Don't be feeling badly for him. I do the prep work. He does the cooking. It all works. The refrigerator and the freezer aren't very huge, but we do find them adequate for a week's worth of supply. So it's working out okay. It's a 12-volt refrigerator, so it can go without an electrical source for a couple of days, but then after that we have to use our generator to recharge. Oh, this is a nice little tidbit of information. This is a tip from You, Me, and the RV. We always write down where we are and what site number we're in for emergency purposes if we ever need it. Because I can't remember what day it is, never mind where I am. Just additional little side note. Up here, I keep all of my pots and pans, bakeware, my coffee grinder and coffee press, and all of my plastic goods. I don't keep anything heavy up here because it all shifts during transit, but it's a very valuable place. I like these items that compress too. They really, this is a popcorn popper for the microwave, and this is a strainer. Whenever I can find something that folds up like that, it's wonderful. The entertainment system in the View is pretty good too. There's a stereo system behind the television, and there's 3 zones, one of which is outside, so that's pretty cool. And on the television, it swivels, so that we can watch it from the chairs that turn around in the cab. Also, we can use Google Chromecast to stream from our phones, iPads, or computers. So we often watch this from the dinette. We have 3 drawers in the kitchen. The first one's very shallow, so I use it for my utensils and my knives. It's a little food scale, comes in handy. So very little in there. And then the other 2 are a little bit more deep. And so in here I keep the larger utensils, my bowls and plates and paper goods and tea, we're tea drinkers. And down below I keep all of my kitchen supplies like towels and such. Under the sink has pretty good area. I'm able to put a full-size trash can under there, all of my cleaning supplies, some dog treats, my wraps, and it's a really great place for the spices. This area is called the One Place. That's what Winnebago calls it. It's where you can go to see your battery life, your tank levels on your fresh water, the propane, the gray, and the black. And this is where the controls are for the slides. And you can also see your solar charge controller. This is the inverter on and off switch and the propane on and off. The dinette area is right across from the kitchen, and this is our most used space. We use this space all day, every day if we're not outside or out doing something. If we're not using it for our computers, we're using it to watch television, or this is also where we eat. So we're constantly transitioning this space from one thing to another. And if that isn't busy enough, Miles sleeps under here, and it's just the spot he claimed. So we're constantly fiddling with our feet to make room for him and accommodate his needs. But this folds down, the cushions go into place, and this forms another queen-size bed. We've only used that once or twice. But we've put pillows here so that we can watch the television comfortably. And Winnebago has put these screen shades in, which are really great. And again, the MCD shades, which are really helpful. Under here, we have some plugs, USB plugs on each side and regular plugs in between, but George has added additional plugs because, as I mentioned, we use this a lot for our computers. We also have an Alexa show and a weather station, so all of that needs to be plugged in as well. George installed these drawers underneath the dinette table. They really come in handy. They're for just the little things that end up otherwise hanging around. These are great. We'll do another video on modifications. Little ones like this have just really helped us along. Underneath the dinette seats, there is a lot of storage area. I don't know what I would do without this storage area, but on this side, we keep all of our dry goods, the Instant Pot, alcohol, very important, and a couple of other things that we don't use on a regular basis but need access to easily, blender, that kind of thing. We have additional storage up above the dinette. This is where we keep some dry goods. This is George's little cooking kit. When he's on the griddle, I just hand him this. It has the salt and the pepper and the commonly used ingredients and the scraper and stuff. This is a great little kit. But we examined our needs and accommodated the things that we eat on a regular basis, like steel-cut oats, quinoa, nuts, and rice in this area. And then in the center, this is where we keep our coffee and snacks. And here's some more miscellaneous items for storage. And over here is where we keep all of our cups and glasses, and we just make sure that when we travel, this is secure beyond the lip of the shelf, and that the glassware isn't up front. I usually make sure that things that can't break are what's up front, so that if anything falls, we're safe. There's additional storage underneath this bench, and that's where we keep Miles' dog food, our hiking boots, things that don't need to be clean or should be kept away from the food, like laundry detergents and such. So there's more storage on this side. So the seats in the cab swivel around to add to the seating area in the RV, which is really helpful. George doesn't tend to use his, so I don't usually switch them around, but I use mine to like read or do crafts and such. And I made these cushions so that it's a little bit more comfortable. And George made this hassock, which not only serves as storage area and a console when we're driving, but it's a great hassock, and we use it for a step stool to reach above the refrigerator and this valuable space up here, which is supposed to be an additional queen size bed, but as you can see, it is our storage area. We use this is where all of our stuff that we don't need access to every single day, but can't live without. So you can see first aid and meds. This is our printer, some filters and such. This is where we keep our toilet paper and paper towels, extra camera equipment, off-season clothing, additional linens. There is a lot of stuff up here, but it does have a 300-pound capacity, so it's okay. Office supplies, umbrellas, hiking equipment, it's all up there. So this, I think, it will probably never be slept in, but certainly highly used. We have this net, which is really awesome. It just protects us from anything falling out. I really don't think these are going anywhere, and we've got any small items that could in the back anyway, but the cargo net is great for security. And I keep these closed all the time because the clutter up there just makes me insane. The G floor plan has a walk-around queen-size bed, and that's the one feature that we really, really liked. Of course, most of the time we can't walk around the bed because, yeah, changing this bed when you strip it and you change it, I don't know any RV beds that are simple, but it takes acrobats to remake the bed. But on a daily basis, it's pretty easy to make. But when we travel, we have to fold the bed in this way. So the mattress folds in half and comes over here so that the slide can come in. But the bed's comfortable, and this is definitely the layout that suits us best. As we mentioned, we're full-time, so clothing storage can be a real challenge. We do store a lot of the stuff that we're not using on a regular basis up above the cab. We each have our own box for that. But the clothes that are in season, George built these great little racks that use the weight of the valance and some Velcro strips to accommodate all of our shirts, which really helps a lot. He's got one on his side, and I've got mine here. And when you fold your shirts the right way, they fit perfectly 2x2, and this has been a lifesaver. Other than that, we have this small closet, which we share. George built 4 shelves in there, and I find that things like these acrylic boxes really come in handy to store all the clothes. Again, properly folded. You can fit an awful lot in these boxes, and I'll do a separate video on organization, but note that the sides of these boxes are straight and not at an angle. When they're at an angle, you lose a lot of storage space. But anyway, I have 4 of these. George prefers not to use the boxes, but that's fine. He doesn't have as much to store as I do. In addition to that, we have these hooks that we use for our hats, lightweight shirt or raincoats and such. So these come in really handy too. I've got hooks everywhere that we need them. It's so important to think about what your problems are and try to solve them. George installed these shoe racks underneath the bed. We just slip our shoes in there, and it accommodates quite a few shoes. He's got one on his side, and I've got one on mine. We actually separated them to fit properly. There is also some storage compartments above the bed. I have a couple of boxes up here, a little bit more flexible boxes than the acrylic ones I mentioned. And again, I'll talk about that in a different video about organization. But I keep books and my travel journal, some colored pencils, jewelry, because, you never know when you're going to need jewelry in this lifestyle. And my jackets are up here, just to get, because you don't need those as often. That's what I keep on my side. I have no clue what George has on his side. Probably very similar. Let's see. Yeah, books, and he's got a box there for miscellaneous things. Winnebago installed these neat little lights. If you click them once, they're blue. And if you hold it down for just a second or two, they become great little reading lights. So I found these to be helpful. But what they didn't have in here is enough USB ports. So George installed some of those, and I charge my phone here and such. So I hang my phone up here at night. And I found these little things to be very helpful because I'm constantly looking for glasses and stuff. So we hung these little holders all over the place to hold glasses. We each have a little nightstand on the side, and please note that I have control of the TV. Yes, we do have another TV in the bedroom, and this one is a smart TV. We use a Fire Stick to get all of our paid-for apps like Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and Disney Plus, and we don't have to watch television together, but we usually do, and it's convenient to have this one in the bedroom. It also plays DVDs, and yeah. With an 80-pound golden retriever, this is a handy little gadget, let me tell you. I vacuum at least once a day, if not a couple of times a day, and this thing just comes in so handy. We don't have a lot of space in here, but we do have a door. And we used to use this door to keep Miles out for the first few months. But we gave that up after a couple of months. And believe it or not, he squeezes his 80-pound body into this little tiny space right here because we won't allow him in our bed. And sleeps with us oftentimes through the night. We have MCD shades in our Winnebago, and they're room darkening. They're wonderful. I really like these shades. There's several things that Winnebago did in this RV to give it a really great feel, a quality, fit and function. For example, the cabinetry. They're Italian designed. They have a little curve in them, which really makes them flexible for storing things. And they're made to resist temperature and moisture. So they're resistant to that and to avoid peeling and cracking. So they'll always look this great, which we really like. Living in an RV full-time, quality is important to us. If you do choose an RV, really look at that, because we've seen some things with very shoddy builds. They might have more space, they might look nicer, but when you really get down to the quality of these items that you're going to use every day, you want to make sure things like drawers work well. I was surprised to see that Winnebago did a really great job with lighting too. Most of the main lighting has two controls on the switch, a high and a low. There's LED lights throughout, and there's lots of lighting choices. So good job, Winnebago. We also have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. There's also a propane detector. We have 3 fans in our view. Up in the front, we have a max air fan. In the center over here, we have an exhaust fan for when you're cooking. But the most important fan, that's the one in the bathroom. The bathroom in our motorhome is small, but meets all of our needs. The sink moves from side to side. It moves into the shower and out of the way when the shower is not being used, and out of the shower when one of us needs to use the shower. And the shower door squeegees itself, and it's a one-piece shower unit, so it's pretty easy to keep clean. There's a skylight in the shower, which makes it feel a little bit roomier. We have a Truma Aqua Go Tankless Comfort Plus water heater. In other words, our water heater is instant on and we never run out. When we have full hookups, I can take as long a shower as I want. The shower head has a button on it so that when we need to restrict the water, we can turn it on and off. We use our shower as a storage area for our laundry bag. There's a bit of storage behind the mirror and a bit more in this space that opens to provide a flat surface when needed. Comes in very handy. We have done a few modifications to make additional storage space, like hanging hooks wherever we find them helpful, and putting this container sideways to hold face cloths. We use European soap dispensers to reduce the clutter in the shower and reduce what we would otherwise need to put away every time we travel. We usually have at least electric hookup, But in the event that we don't, we also have solar and we have a generator, which really comes in handy. We have a 15,000 BTU air conditioning system. Unfortunately, it's a little bit loud, but you do get used to the noise, and it's totally worth it when you need to be cooled off. We follow 70 to 80 degree temperatures. We really try to do that most of the time. And so we don't need our heat too often, but when we do, it's propane heat. But we tend to use a small electric heater to just take the chill out. As I mentioned, we recently attended the Winnebago Grand National Rally, and at that I went to a seminar called Wine and Design. Okay, so I went for the wine, but there was a great portion of it that was design. And what they told us was that they do what they call a transitional design in the Winnebagos, so that you can design your Winnebago to suit your personal taste, which is really, very nice. So what I chose to do is just a color theme and some accent pieces that work with that color. And I'll do a separate video on the simplicity of my design so that you can choose what suits you. Cleaning the motorhome is pretty simple. It's great, with the exception of the golden retriever and all the little fur all over the place. But that's easy. I vacuum a couple of times a day, and it really doesn't take more than a minute. And it's important to make everything really easy to keep clean. Organization is key to the small space, because as my friend Shah from A Year to Volunteer pointed out, even if there's a toothpick on the counter, the whole place is a mess, which is so true. So just when you do develop your areas of where to put things away, make them simple so that everybody that lives in the RV knows where everything goes, and cleanup is a cinch.
As Louise mentioned, our home is a 2019 Winnebago View. It is built on a 2018 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 3500 cutaway chassis. Cutaway chassis is what makes this a Class C motorhome. Our View includes a 16-foot awning with integrated LED lights. We recently modified our awning to a remote control with a wind sensor so that a sudden wind will automatically retract the awning. We have plenty of outdoor storage compartments. There's actually more storage capacity volume-wise than we can use. If we were to fill every compartment with stuff, we would probably be grossly overweight. Carrying capacity of this View is just 1,055 pounds.
First cabinet is the one just behind the entry door. It's where we keep a couple of leveling blocks, our Blackstone griddle with the propane hose, some leveling blocks for the griddle itself, so I can get it level when we're cooking, a collapsible broom, and a fishing tackle box. The next compartment contains our 3.6 kilowatt LP generator. It's what gives us electricity when we don't have power connected from the pedestal. The last compartment on the passenger side is the only all-plastic compartment that we have, so it was completely waterproof, but I've since drilled a hole in it for two reasons. One, so that I could run a propane quick connect, so I could supply propane to my Blackstone griddle. And the second reason why I drilled a hole in it is because it used to get really damp inside that compartment. I keep waxes and detergents in that compartment, along with all the rags and some extra motor oil for the propane generator and for the RV. So it used to get pretty damp in there, and since I've drilled a hole in it, it hasn't been so bad.
The rear bedroom slide is both a blessing and a curse. It is a convenient place to store some of our stuff so that it is out of the weather, but because it is directly above what we call our basement storage, we have to bend down to access it. I've hit my head on that slide too many times to count.
The apartment that's under our rear slide out, which is our bedroom, is what we call the basement. It's where I keep all my tools. I keep some electrical tools and some mechanical tools to help us if we're on the road and something breaks. I can probably fix it with the tools that I have. The last compartment on the driver's side is the wet bay and electrical bay. This is where we run power to the RV. When we have full hookups, we can connect the electric cable into here and fresh water line into here. It's also where the controls are for the gray and the black tank. The last two bays on the driver's side, just behind the driver's door, two large bays, they're connected. And that's where we only keep a couple of things in there. We keep an extra extension cord, we carry an extra sewer hose, and we're temporarily storing our 2 lithium batteries in there. I haven't had a chance to install them yet, so that's where we're storing them for now. And it's also where we store solvents and lubricants for maintaining the 2 slide mechanisms, and for treating the gaskets, the various gaskets that are on the RV. And this little compartment behind the driver's door is the location of the 13-gallon propane tank fill port.
Our motorhome uses diesel fuel, and the fill port is conveniently located by the driver door. It can only be opened when the driver door is open.
So I hope you enjoyed our little tour of our very tiny home. And I'll be doing a future video on organization tips for living in small spaces. So if you have any ideas or any questions or such, please put it down in the comments so that I can make sure that I cover that stuff in the video. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up and like this video, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be told when our videos come out. Thanks for watching.
I'm just gonna drive, drive, drive.